things like that, like not having pricing in our marketing
Yeah.
because we're not about price. One of the things we're still getting good at that I want to pick your brain about offline more is the scripting, because I think we can get way better at that when we are taking the calls. Because we still, for instance, I had to man the phones last week for days because I had some guys at training, and I was surprised at still how many calls I got with people saying, "I want a price, I want a quote,"
Yeah.
and I've got a way to talk to them about that and talk to them about our value that we bring
Yep.
and all the ways that we do that, the 16-point process that we have for our cleaning.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, a show created to inspire carpet cleaning business owners to build their own thriving residential and commercial cleaning business. Your host, John Clendenning, has built and sold successful cleaning businesses for multiple six figures over his 30-year career and is the founder of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, a digital agency that turns your online marketing into a lead generation machine. Tune in as John shares proven tips, strategies, and expert interviews to help fast-track your success in the carpet cleaning industry.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, your only show on the internet, run by 30-year veteran in the carpet cleaning industry, talking to carpet cleaners, helping you grow your business, learning from people like our guest today, Brent Versendaal. We're having a really good chat. I've wanted him on the podcast for a while now, and we're going to learn a little bit of his backstory as well. So you can always check in with us on stories, how to think through your carpet cleaning business, grow your carpet cleaning business, just learn some fun stuff and get some actionable insights from all the different training and guests that we have on. So anyways, with that said, welcome to the podcast, Brent. It's really good to have you on.
Thanks, John. I'm looking forward to this. It's always fun talking business.
Yeah, so am I. And actually, it's funny. So Brent's a rug rat. His father started the business. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And I was actually on a call with him a while ago from somebody who looked over his shoulder and saw the planes and stuff like that. And I knew his dad was an aircraft mechanic. I'd never looked past your shoulder until that was brought up. It's like, oh, do you fly too? And I'd never even made the connection. I go, wow, yeah, those are the things that, in perspective, you don't kind of really notice. But so we're just going to take a snapshot to start off with, and we'll ask a bunch of questions about the business and just kind of dig into where you came from. But just a general idea right now, just your name, the business location, business name, size of company, that kind of idea, how many crews on the road, and just a general snapshot of what all seasons carpet care looks like right now.
Okay. We're located in the Rockford, Illinois area, northern Illinois, near Wisconsin. Currently, I have 3 technicians and one, we're calling him a production manager. He's a relatively new hire, but a guy that I've known for a little while. So he's going to be kind of a jack of all trades eventually. But right now he's filling the office manager role. And then myself, that's it right now.
Yep.
We actually have 4 trucks. Actually, I have more than that, but 4 that are being used. It's funny, back in the day, I had more technicians than trucks. Now I have more trucks than technicians, but we've got 4 that are in production, and I occasionally still go out and do some jobs when need be, getting to be less of that, which is where I want it to go. Although we could talk about this further. I think it's good from my standpoint at the point where we're at for me to be in the field occasionally.
Yeah.
The guys are,
we'll get into that too.
I'm implementing some of the new stuff. I know what they're dealing with, but
so
we've got that. We do primarily, the carpet cleaning related things, upholstery, tiling, grout, and then we also have our own rug cleaning shop here too. So we do that part of our business has been growing for the last few years.
That's great. And so it's a focus mostly residential commercial split. What would you say the percentage was, sort of just in the?
Well, it's about 70-30, 30 being commercial, and a lot of that commercial is some accounts that have that manage residential properties, we call it. Right.
Yeah. And the type of commercial you guys chase after, ideally, like, sometimes we'll take things just because we got them, but what is it? there's again, some carpet cleaners like to focus on like what we used to do is the day work, like the condo hallways and stuff like that, hotels and banquet halls, the end of day, like the 5 o'clock, the dentist, chiropractor,
Yep.
accountants, stuff like that, versus the 2 a.m. greasy restaurants. So
Yeah, we don't do any of those anymore.
yeah. Isn't that weird? You take all those things on early on. You think you kind of need to be yes to everybody, and then there's a point at which you're going, hey, man, I know he's getting up the next morning to show up for, 8:30, get on to the first job, between 8:30 and 9 to actually please the residential customers and make what I always consider done well, the real money in the
Right.
business. So there is an angle for commercial
Yeah.
carpet cleaning,
I think there
but
is.
any of the guys I've talked to and some of the guys that we work with, B2B is it's less marketing, like outreach is less, it's less internet. You need all that just to back you up in your credibility, but it really is a who old boys kind of club, right? So it's if the office managers or the building managers in skyscrapers downtown, Chicago and stuff like that, this guy might move to that building. Now you become the guy in that building and they've got 1,000,000 square feet, 800,000 square feet that just needs to be done on rotation over the year. And it's just a contract. And it's just, guys got people going in, from 9 o'clock at night till 4 a.m. every night. But you didn't get that because of a great Google ad. And you didn't get that because of a door hanger or a flyer. You got that from a referral from a dinner out and maybe taking guys golfing and things like that. And you play that different kind of game as well. So for most of us, residential is where our bread and butter is. You find the best clients in your marketplace and you hang on to them as long as you can to get as much money out of them over their lifetime and hopefully their children and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
so tell me a little bit. So let's kind of dive into Dad and the business. And I think 1972 was when that was started. A little story behind the business. What got him into it? And then when did you start showing up, like in meaningful, not just the sticking around the office, but actually being handed something to do, and that kind of thing back in the day?
Yeah, well, my dad was an aircraft mechanic and worked in machine shops too before in the 1960s.
Yeah.
And the thing that happened was we're in Rockford. He was going to get shipped to O'Hare to work there, which was a hike at the time.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do that. So his only other option was to quit the job because he had just had a young family at the time. And he knew somebody who had I think it was a old Steamatic franchise.
Yeah.
So he went into business helping him. And that's how he got into carpet cleaning. And then eventually he went out on his own. And being an aircraft mechanic, he could fix anything and build. He actually built his own carpet cleaning machine. It was essentially, here's a funny story. And then I grew up, he ran it out of the house my whole life. He never had a building. So it was always out of the garage. And that's what I knew growing up. And I remember when I took over the business and I knew nothing about it really. And I inherited his equipment that he had made. And I remember calling to get parts. And I'm explaining to the guy at one of the places that most people in the industry would know, this is what I've got. I got a truck mount. I'm describing it to him. He goes, that's not a truck mount. That's a portable. My dad had essentially built a portable into his truck.
Wow.
Yeah, we had to plug in on every job. But anyway, that's
cool. And I guess that's a skill set as well. You think about it, like how many new cleaners do we kind of run into at on forums and events and stuff like that? And it's like, they're going down to the janitorial supply place. They're calling the butler or hydromaster guy all the time and to fix stuff, and whether it's portable, whether it's whatever, and maybe even have somebody there to help them out. That is, in today's day and age, isn't a cheap rate to get somebody to kind of come and change electrical switches and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's a lost art or if it was just, but it's like, or just the bootstrapping of it or whatever. Or again, your dad had the technical proficiency, but that was always like, I was a young 20-something-year-old kid and I just had to figure out how to change a switch that burned out, how to change a pump, how to, fix wands and lines in the field on the way so you can finish the job up and get through it and stuff like that. And it doesn't become a down day or, even a down job and stuff like that. So funny that your dad actually built the equipment right into the truck.
So. He even built his own wands. He would weld them together out of aluminum.
That's awesome. No, I didn't know that. That's awesome. So Yeah, so that was so when did the name All Seasons show up? When was the actual brand in the marketplace?
Yeah, my dad started out as Four Seasons carpet
Okay.
cleaning,
Yep.
and his uncles who had a car dealership in Michigan who were in business told him he should change it to All Seasons because back in the day the yellow pages ruled, right?
Oh, A, very good.
So you wanted an A as your front of your name, so he's changed it to All Seasons,
Yeah.
and so that would have been just like 1974.
Yeah.
Although there are people all the way into the 90s and even into the 2000s that were original customers that still called them Four Seasons.
Yeah.
And it caused some confusion in the marketplace too with some other people
Yeah.
came into the marketplace.
Yeah. But again, there's always like nuggets as we talk through with anybody, there's little words that are said that is actually the huge knowledge bomb right there. You had customers for decades remembering the old name, but you had customers for decades, right? So even talk about that a little bit. Like, again, we're in an industry that businesses come and go. As I said, I like doing these interviews with anybody who's been around for more than 10 years, let alone this long, because 80% of all carpet cleaning businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. And of the remaining 5 years, it's almost 90% is the average. So about 4%, 4 to 5% actually last 10 years or longer. And that's across most service industries, but carpet cleaning as well. And one of those things seems to come down to, and I kind of feel it's more so now. Maybe I'm just forgetting, my early days. I started in 95. I remember and all that, but I am finding more and more so there seems to be a forgotten art of the reason why we're in business is to build a database of customers to come back again and again and refer us. That's kind of the reason why we're in business. It's not that first time job. In fact, if you break even on the first time job and it's a great customer you're gonna see for the next 20 years and $5,000-$10,000 worth of cleaning over that 20 years, it's worth it to break even on the first job, buy a good customer into your database kind of idea. And I see people chasing, low cost customers with low cost pricing and not really understanding that person's going to go find the next lowest deal next time. And they never built the business out of it, whether they're 1 year in, 5 years in, or 20 years in, they're still just chasing new and not repeat and referrals. So dad obviously got that years ago, right? And he did something right to get people calling back. And then you've taken over and done more of the right. So let's talk a little bit about the marketing mix and like the database side of it, because I'm sure the marketing has changed from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to 2000s and now where we're at. But the philosophy of what you're presenting into the marketplace, let's talk about how that maybe has morphed a little bit from what you walked into when you became sort of owning and running the business. What you've done to the business to transition it from where it was 70s and 80s into the rest.
Right. Well, what I will say is my dad, I mean, as much respect, as much as I loved him, I would say he wasn't really a businessman. From the E-Myth, if you read the E-Myth, he was a technician, essentially.
Yep.
And he was good. He was moral and ethical, and he worked hard, like every day, working all day long. And so I learned a lot from him from that aspect, but from a marketing standpoint, like he didn't look at it as something to overcome. And then he went through some hardships in the late 70s, early 80s, and he kind of got to the point where the carpet cleaning business was just a way to provide for his family.
Yeah.
It was a job for him, and he didn't see it as an opportunity like I did. So, and I didn't know any of these things getting into it.
Yeah.
So I was like, because I saw him running his own business my whole life as a kid, and even though I went to college, I had a degree, I had a good job, I always had this itch to have my own business.
Okay.
And my dad was 67. He still could have kept cleaning carpets for quite a few years. He was in good shape, but he was wanting to get out. And a friend of mine just planted the seed in my head. He had his own little computer business. He goes, "You should buy your dad's business." Honestly, I never considered it.
Yeah. Wow.
And I went to my dad, told him I wanted to buy it. And he tried to convince me not to. He thought it was a waste of my education. Let me do it. He told me later that he thought I would have given it up after a year or two and went back to my job. But he was proud of what I had done with it.
That's awesome.
All that to be said, that from a marketing standpoint and a business running standpoint. I had to learn all that the hard way because my degree is in engineering, and they don't teach you any business
They
in
do not.
school. So I learned all of that stuff, like I said, the hard way. I think you and I crossed paths unknowingly many times,
Yeah.
like early 2000s, probably in the piranha world, and things that I got from that. Um, my dad, just to give you an idea, I think he started out in the 70s charging 11 cents a square foot to
Wow.
clean. And I
Okay.
think it may have been high in the 70s. I
And
don't know,
that
maybe.
sounds, yeah, because I was gonna say, 1995, I was 21 cents a square foot, and thought that I was overcharging at the time as well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
In the 70s, that might have been high,
Yeah.
but by the time I took it over in 1997, and the
Yeah.
day I stepped in, he stepped out. Basically, we never worked together. I
Okay.
mean, he did answer questions and whatnot for me, but he was only at 14 cents a square foot.
Wow. Okay. So
But-
yeah,
And
not yeah.
and his business advice to me was, hey, you might want to raise your prices a couple of pennies when you get started. So I took the huge step of going up to 16 cents a square foot, and I was
Ooh,
nervous about it.
trailblazer.
So again, back to like marketing and sales strategy, like he said that, and he encouraged me to go after essentially apartments,
Yeah.
which is very
Crappy
common.
jobs. Yep. The dirty,
And
stinky.
and to undercut,
Yep.
undercut other people to try to get that work, which is what I know a lot of guys do, and I'm admitting to doing that too early
Yep.
on. I still remember my first customer was a rental apartment landlord who I still work for today to this, and we're actually friends now, but
Yeah.
I remember offering him $50 to clean this 2-bedroom apartment, and he got me down to $45 the very first day on the job.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn all of that mindset about, and that took years to
Yeah.
not to charge more, to put value into what we're doing, and then to try to put that into my marketing to try
Yeah.
to get those type of customers that are willing to pay for value versus low prices.
Yeah, and that, it is a mindset. So again, we learned, like, I mean, Joe Polish was a great marketer back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, he marketed us carpet cleaners well with 30-page sales letters and all that kind of stuff to show up. Kind of learned it from Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy was another person. Howard Partridge was great at the business philosophy and like and that kind of stuff, and the sort of the office side of it as well, and the referral marketing side of it. And we had a lot of, and again, the E-Myth, a lot of these guys read good books and recommended them. And I remember back in the day, that was a cassette tape, and you'd buy the course, and on the van seat beside you, put the next one in, have this one spinning on a pen so you can get it, rewind it back again, and stuff like that. Right. And before the days of CDs and all, but it was kind of, you didn't know what you didn't know, but you realized you were being indoctrinated into being an actual real business owner whose focus, again, like the E-Myth, Michael Gerber, great book, anybody should read for sure, pick up, but is you don't want to be the technician. That is a hat that you have to wear until you can have other people wearing it, even if you keep it on and go out on jobs, stuff like that. But you're far, like, as a business owner, you're not the doer of the tasks. That might be one role, but you're the creator of the systems. You are the person who understands, steers the ship, the vision of the company. Well, the vision is marketing. You do not have a client base, a database, a direction with your company without marketing. The phone doesn't ring. Like, I see people on Truck Mount forums and other forums and stuff like that saying, oh, I've never had to market my business and I'm busy. And going, are you busy if you broke your ankle? Are you still busy in paying the bills? Are you, like, maybe you've got a good referral network, that's still marketing. Maybe you've joined the chamber. Maybe you do charity stuff, and you've got your cleaning shirt on, and you're flipping, pancakes and burgers and stuff like that, and everybody knows you and they always refer you as the guy. That's all marketing. That's all part of what everybody should be doing anyways, included in these little digital things and all. But you've got to start with your mindset that you can charge a higher price, and you can provide different services. I think the first time I got that was, so I started in 95. I think by 97, 98, that's when I learned to package, right? So 3 separate packages. And that was my way of upselling, because I'm a shy kid. It was like, well, I'm trying to sell you a protector. I'm mentioning it, like, right? Put a package together, give it a really great framework around why this package is better than this one, put it on a laminate, have the customer walk around with something tactile in their hands that you can point over and go, yeah, so if you took this this program right here, like program was a better name than package even, but if you took this program right here, that would include this and this and this. As you do your pre-inspection healthy audit in the home, you're starting to frame yourself as a consultant to care of their home. And as soon as you do that, you realize the quality of client will improve, the number of referrals will improve from those quality clients. And the ones that just want a cheap price, the dog is crapped all over the carpet, the husband's fixed the or boyfriend has fixed the motorcycle in the living room and left grease all over something, those clients just start to fade away because you've created a better market, a better reputation. You've raised your prices, which weeds out the other people, and all of that kind of stuff. And you start understanding slowly and surely, wow, maybe this does go somewhere. That again, now that, you know, I know that you're sort of at the top end of the market now. Did you ever go through the 3-package route before you've kind of gone back to the 1-package route, or like what was your little journey through sort of the way to get people to spend more per job, you know?
Yeah, we did do packages a while back, and then kind of got away from that, and then kind of went a la carte for a while, and now we're primarily 1 package right now. You know what we're doing with
the elite service, like with Michael Clevenger in the group. And that's an approach as well that works really well. It's another model, but just we're hitting the top end of the market. We're showing you that there's one way to do it, and let us come into your home and do an estimate and a conversation and see if it's a good fit. And it is definitely a way to get those best customers, and weed out the ones that doesn't work with anyways.
Right. So yeah, I would say the biggest takeaway from all of that, at least for me, was the head game up here with all of that. Because back to those first few years in business at 16 cents a square foot, and you could get like really deep psychologically here. I think I had some programming from early on.
Okay.
Because I still remember, you know, working out the price per square foot for some customers, and if it was over $100, I'd find some way to discount it down to like $97 or $96 because there was something in my head that was telling me, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm not worth that. Maybe I'm afraid to offer that price, something like that. And
I wouldn't pay that myself, so why would this person? We start projecting, right?
Yep. All of that kind of stuff, I think is probably the biggest lever if you're a person who's got those kind of issues like I did to work on to get over that. And I did start raising prices. We did do that eventually, but we never actually made the big leap like we made this year. And saw what was possible with what we're doing this year.
Yeah, and part of it, again, what's possible, what you're doing now is because you also learned that, you know, service is an experience. So the people you hire, it's not about whether they're technically good on the wand. We'll train them on that and stuff like that. They have to be great in front of the homeowner in some way. They've got to come across as honest and heartwarming and capable to the consumer. Because if they're just guys in jeans and a t-shirt, hat on backwards, and, you know, tongue of their shoes hanging out, you know, they might be the nicest person on the planet, but they're not, you know, a lot of times they're not necessarily the most well-spoken. They don't kind of interact with the consumer in a way, and they don't deliver a service experience. So that was one of the first things I learned. I read the experience economy, I think it was in 2001. The first time I presented, like, I skipped out of every presentation in high school. Those days I skipped out. The days I had to redo my remake, I skipped out as well. I had teachers trying to figure out marks for me, like in English class and history class and stuff like that, all the way up to my final year of high school, because fear of public speaking was a huge part of my problem. And then I actually bought my carpet cleaning business and started it to force myself to be in people's homes. And Tony Robbins, 101, Wake the Power Within, one of the, I'd Think and Grow Rich and all that stuff, had realized, can I put on the suit of somebody, like pretend to be, act as if I was, you know, this person that could speak in front of people, that could deliver the service and stuff like that. And I wrote scripts because I needed scripts. Like it was like I got good at writing scripts. I learned neuro-linguistic programming. I wrote scripts for call centers and stuff because I needed the scripts, because without it, I'd have no clue what to say, or I'd be so nervous the words wouldn't come out of my mouth. And then I would get better at making scripts sell. And I get better at making analogies that, hey, your traffic lanes are like the knees of your jeans. Let me explain, kind of idea. And and all of a sudden you get these little light bulb moments that sold Protector, that upsold a package, and things like that. And that that allows you to now hire based on attitude, teach them the skills, because as long as they can sit in an interview, talk well, show up, have a good, a clean cut, good, well-mannered, you can teach them the rest of the stuff, and they should enjoy the job because they're there just helping people all day long. But then they deliver this great service experience. You can now start layering on the booties and the red carpets and having a service experience that makes people go, wow, that was amazing. That's better any other service, not just carpet cleaner, but service provider I've had in my house. You've got things dialed in, and you almost kind of franchise again, E-Myth 101, franchise it. When you get to that level and the quality of what you're delivering and the education that you can educate the consumer with, and your technicians and everybody are all up to speed, then it's still a mental leap for you and I as owners to go, can I really go like that big in the marketplace and at that price point? But you've already built a system that means you don't have to be the guy always out doing it. You can actually have technicians that buy into and do, and then they start seeing the paychecks that come from that, and they're like, they kind of get a bit of a swagger in themselves as well around it. So
yeah, it's true. Like I've always told my guys when I hire them, especially, I said, you can be the greatest carpet cleaner technically in the world, but if you don't create that rapport with the customer, if you can't do that, we're not going to be successful. Because if you can create the rapport and the customer really loves you, you don't have to be that great of a carpet cleaner. And it's not that we're trying to find ways to not be good cleaners, but that's just the truth of the matter. And they're going to use us again because they like you.
Yeah.
They like our company.
Oh, you get away with too much. Unfortunately, I've had technicians that are so good at that it's like, okay, but you stop using the pre-sprays and the CRBs and stuff. Like, no. Run the whole system. Like I used to do mystery shoppers on our own clients, because I would take somebody that knew me from the day or was a family friend that our technicians didn't know. And I would say, when I see them in the schedule, I would call them up and say, hey, Annette, so the boys don't know you and I know each other. I'll give you $50 off after the fact, or a gift certificate for the steakhouse or whatever. I'm going to just keep eyes on it, watch for this stuff, and I'm going to send you an email with a survey to do afterwards of what, I don't need you taking pictures or stuff like that. Just what color was the machine that was brought in? What was, this kind of idea? Because was it the little portable spot extractor they used on the upholstery, or did they actually bring, the full, things like that? Because when they're really good at conversation, they know they can get away with a lot, right? And it's, you gotta make sure that, like, who was it that used to say, the quote was, I trust you, but I trust you but I'm gonna check the mark and run the
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. There, exactly, right? And it just keeps them honest, right? So again, part of this whole marketing journey in business is making sure that you come across as unique. We as business owners, and this is another thing that I think some people forget when they're in that technician mindset, just a carpet cleaner, it's just a commodity. Of course, people only care about price, right? But no, you and I get to manufacture reality. Business owners get to manufacture the reality of what they are selling. I learned this from infomercials, Don Lepre and tiny classified ads and all that stuff decades ago. Ginsu knives at 2:00 in the morning and Guthrie Ranker and all that stuff. They didn't sell anything different than anybody else. They packaged it differently. They told a better story. They had a better unique sales proposition that resonated with the client and stuff like that. So what would you say in your business is the uniqueness that you push into the marketplace that tells people that, hey, if you want it done the other way, but when you get it done our way, here's what you're going to get. Again, that you get to enhance pricing by having my manufacturing reality in your marketing and your process or your description? What is some of the things that you've added into yours that sort of help you elevate that reality?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been a big part of that this year with a new website and getting that message out there that we're projecting a premium service. And I still think the old headline, the most thorough cleaning ever, or it's free, that still works to some degree in different marketings or different variations of that. We use that for years. In fact, one of my competitors stole it without paying for it like we did.
Yeah.
And started using it. But things like that, like not having pricing in our marketing, because we're not about price. One of the things we're still getting good at that I want to pick your brain about offline more is the scripting, because I think we can get way better at that when we are taking the calls. Because we still, for instance, I had to man the phones last week for days because I had some guys at training, and I was surprised at still how many calls I got with people saying, I want a price, I want a quote, and I've got a way to talk to them about that and talk to them about our value that we bring. And all the ways that we do that, the 16-point process that we have for our cleaning system.
Now, do you have a name for the 16-point process?
We just call it our VIP.
There you go. Yep, exactly.
VIP 16-point cleaning process.
Name things. You become your own. Like, it's like, again,
good. You should come up with a more exciting name.
Yeah, and you can iterate, but it's sort of like if you give it a name that nobody else has, or that kind of idea, then again, it's just another anchor because you're manufacturing reality. We used to have the new mothers or the expecting mothers package because, somebody told me to try Welcome Wagon at one point. We tried Welcome Wagon, didn't do anything, right? And then we took one of our standard packages, but I'd heard and from my own wife, I learned what a nesting woman was. Somebody who's pregnant and how everything has to get done. The squeak, everything had to be fixed. Everything, especially the closer things got, everything had to be clean. Everything had to be painted. Everything had to be ready. All that kind of stuff. And it's like, cool. Well, there are lists for those people. You can buy lists. Welcome Wagon buys those lists and stuff like that, and does those introductions and things like that. So what we created, instead of just, we're carpet cleaners, it was like, I'm trying to remember the name of it right now as we talk, but we had a name for the package, and it was just about creating a safe, healthy, clean environment for mom and babe when you come home from the hospital, right? So let's get that done, ahead of time, right? And it was never about, can you just do the baby's room then? It was like, you're doing the whole house, you're doing the carpet, you're doing the tile. Like they were $1,200, $1,500 jobs, because it's like, and husband's going, here's the credit card, here's the check. Remember the day everybody paid by check? Here's the check, kind of idea. He's rolling his eyes and she's going, thank you. Oh, it smells so nice. And and all that kind of stuff. And well, if you get any spit up, here's my branded all season spot remover, free real refills for life, right? Again, we don't have to do any of those things, but you hand those out, you do these things, you have these packages, you give these names, and it feeds into a conversation already going on in the customer's head. Can you tap it? Which is good marketing. All it does is tap into a conversation that's already going on in somebody's head, right? So when you're trying to manufacture the conversation, we know lots of people, like, for example, some people say Facebook ads only work if you run it like Groupon. Discounts, bait and switch, all that kind of stuff. 3 rooms in a hall for, $99, $139, whatever. If you're trying to get Facebook to generate, a whole bunch of low-end leads, if you've got an inquiry system with, again, a good website that tells your story, you've got good marketing, you're in local service ads, you're in Google ads, you've got door hangers in neighborhoods, you've got real estate agents referring you and interior designers, and you're just out in the public and people know your name and all that kind of stuff. You got a referral program for your client base, you got a reminder system for your client base and all that kind of stuff. Facebook then becomes, why not tell your business story in a bunch of different ads at $10, $20, $30 a day? You would pay that $30 a day, $20 a day, $600 a month for a billboard. Right. You're not going to get it at that price. It's 3, 4, 5 times that price, but you'd pay that for a billboard or the back of a bus or something like that in your ideal neighborhoods, in like the golf course road areas and stuff like that. You're not even going to get flyer distribution out like that, but you can actually be on Facebook and target those ideal people that are business owners, that are career oriented, corporate, and say, hey, I'm Brent. This is Brent. This is my wife. This is my family. This is my kids. This is, second generation. Blah blah blah. Here's what we do differently. If you want it done properly, you want this feeling, this sense of done well, clean, healthy, 16-point process, all that kind of stuff. Give us a call. You never mentioned the price, and you've attracted the right person. If your average job is $400, $500, $600, $700, average job, because you're attracting the right person, one person a month pays the Facebook ad, the $20 a day ad to brand, and you're being seen by 20,000 ideally targeted consumers every single month with a slightly different message, but it's a message of you in the marketplace. Now you've got marketing that feeds on everything else. Now they go, oh, who is this guy? They go to the website. Oh my God, there's the story there too. They start, they get into your world. They start getting retargeted by happy customers telling happy customer stories, not discounts and deals. And now your whole world starts aligning with the people that want the better, who are willing to pay more to get it done right, maintain their stuff. And they're going to have friends like that. They're going to have, they're going to want you more often. The person that thinks it's been a year since their last cleaning has been 3 is different than the person who calls you every 6 months because it's off-white carpet, off-white upholstery, off-white tile, off-white dog. They wear off-white clothing, and they just, everything needs to be clean kind of idea, right? So that kind of thing. So so we've kind of woven a little bit about marketing, which is a big part of what I talk about a lot. Operational efficiency and stuff like that with the technicians, keeping them, hiring and finding good technicians and keeping them is another big thing that we've always run into in the industry, and it ebbs and flows at different times of the economy, and stuff like that in different generations as we're moving into, your generations Ys and X's and all that kind of stuff. A little bit of insight for the crowd. Your philosophy around finding good technicians, keeping them around long enough that they can finally really get it and learn it and deliver that value. What would you say is a bit of an insight in that?
I could talk a lot about that and the changes we've made recently. But if you want just a quick insight, it would be read Patrick Lencioni's Ideal Team Player.
Okay.
That we use that now, and they have materials online that are free resources for hiring to use during hiring. I mean, are you familiar with that book?
I haven't. No, I haven't heard of that one at all.
I mean, it's really simple. If you're familiar with Lencioni, the books are easy because they're stories.
Okay.
They're not just academic stuff.
Sort of like the E-Myth. It's a story of somebody running a business. Yeah.
Or the 5 dysfunctions of a team.
Yeah.
You heard of that one?
Yes.
He wrote that also.
Okay.
So, but he breaks it down and says that an ideal team player, which is what we all want, is hungry, humble, and smart. And smart is emotional intelligence, not intellectual intelligence. So, and then there's ways that it gives you that's pretty straightforward and cut and dry to ask questions to try to figure out if the candidates we're looking at are ideal team players. And it's interesting in the book, like if you've only got 2 of those categories, which I can look back on our history and see people that only had 2 or only had 1.
Oh yeah.
Pretty easy to identify. And then it's easy to, if you read the book, you can predict, what are the issues that this person
That's awesome.
when they're like that. And we've used that just for the last year and a half.
Oh, cool.
Hiring an office manager and then a couple technicians. And I find that very helpful. But
that's great advice. No, anything like that. Because I mean, now that I'm out of the cleaning world as of 3 years ago, all the businesses have been sold and do the digital marketing online stuff. We use the Colby Index for determining, which is, again, I'm going to read that book for sure. I'm a voracious reader. I just love reading new stuff. So, and see how it, the disc profile, then the Colby, and things like that, and how you can go back once you learn it, as you said, and go, yeah, that's obvious now in hindsight.
What's your Colby score? Do you know what it is?
What's that?
John, do you know what your Colby score is?
I don't have it up in front of me. I can't remember right now. So
curious.
Yeah.
I am very into that one too. So
yes. So, but yeah, no, and we just made a couple new hires recently, a director of an accountability coach that we're adding into our services to help our clients stay, for the ones that need sort of a little bit more pushing on up in getting their database marketing out the door and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of like, here's what you need to do. Here's the big stack of stuff to eventually knock off the list to run a really good service business of any kind. I don't care if it's carpet cleaning or what. And what causes 10, 15% to do that over the course like you did. Like I, had to, because I decided I don't want to be in the truck. So I'm going to spend all my time working on the business, not in it. And then I became, I had to learn all this stuff to be able to have a paycheck and not be one of the guys in the truck when we only had 2 trucks on the road back in the day, like early on and stuff like that. Right. So, but yeah, we find our why and we put it in place and we learn it. But some people just stay in technician mode, and because all the rest of this seemed too daunting. So we use the Colby to find somebody who's on our team now, Fabio, who is doing exactly that. Because and I would have just hired on personality before. He seems like a nice guy, but now you do the Colby and the disc and all that kind of stuff. And going, oh my gosh, you're a high fact finder, and you're like,
Yep.
and it's like it's the right person for the right role to be empathetic and help, and then but still be strong enough to direct and that kind of thing. And you wouldn't have known it otherwise. So you've got something in place, which is good. And I think everybody should pick up that book and read it for sure. Where are you finding the technicians now versus say 10 years ago? What is working now? Is it like, Indeeds and things like that? Is it, I've talked to Jeff Cross from CleanFacts ISSA recently. He does a lot of training around helping to find the ideal technician and that kind of thing. But where do you guys finding it working in the Rockford area right now?
Well, that I can't speak a whole lot to recently, because like I've got a technician that I'm looking to hire right now, but he's one that had worked for us in the past.
Yeah.
And liked him, and he's interested in coming back. It's a longer story for different reasons that could work out well.
Okay.
So we've used Indeed over the last few years, because that's what everybody goes to that I know of. So that's all I can speak to at this point. But I would say, touching back to that and the previous question about the mindset around it, I'm also been really influenced by Tommy Mello's Elevate book.
Yes, great book.
Several times, and I really appreciate that book and the message regarding hiring and how to treat your team members and coworkers.
Yeah, that one, and what's the other? Anything by Tommy Mello is great. Follow his podcast as well, everybody. If anybody knows Tommy well enough, I've got feelers out. I'd love to get him on the podcast here. So, Tommy is great in home service. Like, he just understands and teaches well and explains well how to do the job of a business owner again, and the different aspects that you need to be focusing on, and simplify it. Right. So we've talked about a bunch of stuff that has worked well. We all do things that work crappy, that didn't work out, that we try until we get to good. Is there anything that you can just again, everybody likes to look at the car accident as you drive by. Is there anything that you like, just 1 or 2 things that might have stood out as something that you tried over the years, thinking it was going to be a great idea, and like maybe a new service you tried to add on, or something in the marketplace, a partnership, or anything that just there's lessons learned now that in hindsight?
Oh yeah, wow. I got a laundry list of things for that, John. But the things that are top of mind as I look back is going back to Colby, I'm a 9 quick start.
Okay.
So I'm easily distracted, and throughout all the years, I know I wasted so much time looking for other services to add on when I hadn't maximized, just carpet cleaner.
Yeah. Go deep. Just run your channel. Yep.
Yeah. So I know I wasted a lot of time doing that. Like I bought an air duct cleaning trailer.
Yeah.
Really
I'm
good
staring
deal.
at one out the window that when I sold the business, Carl has not driven it once. Like, it's just exactly. Yep. So
I mean, and it could be a valid add-on, but at the time it was a distraction for me. And there's so many of those that have been distractions. And so I need to, there's a Steve Jobs quote about that. Like, he's more proud of the 1,000 things they said no to than the 1 or 2 things they said yes to. And so I need to take that to heart more. So that's one thing that
good advice. I think a lot of our listeners, it's depending on your marketplace. Again, if you're in a town of 10,000 people, 15,000 people in a whole county of 70,000, you're probably going wide. Sorry, dude. And maybe, get really good at this marketing thing and buy out the competitors and own the pressure washing business and be a mogul of the cleaning industry. If you're in a town, a couple 100,000 people or more, you can go deep. I was just talking to a guy the other day. They were trying to, he might end up becoming one of our newest clients. He only does upholstery cleaning, only does high-end upholstery cleaning. He's in Florida. So he does boats, he does yachts, he does condos, all the high-end property managers and interior designers use him. Haitian cottons and silks and all that stuff that nobody wants to touch. He delivers a beautiful service experience. He lays his drop sheet out. He puts his table up. He puts the gloves on. He actually has a bit of a show that the whole bit. He does a little bit of aromatherapy in the room while he's doing the cleaning.
Nice.
Really cool thought process. Never wants to touch a carpet cleaning wand to save his life. So his average couch is about $800.
Wow.
Right?
That's
His
brilliant.
average love seats 500, armchairs 300.
Yep. He owns the niche. He's got a niche. He's probably got no competitors.
Yep.
Talk about going deep. He's epitomized that. So
yeah, I'm just like, wow, even from me that thinks this stuff through and overthinks it and does like you the wrong way and then comes back and stuff like that. It's like, that was like, wow, there's an eye opener. It makes you, it adjusts your perspective and you go, gosh, yeah, there's something to that too. so yeah, but cool. So we talked about a bunch of again, a little bit of pitfalls, a little bit of marketing direction and stuff like that. On your cleaning business journey, what do you see developing? What do you see? So we're almost in 2025. If we're looking back, just a bit of a crystal ball direction of the company, what do you hope the next 5 years, like beyond 5 years, it's almost impossible in our world nowadays, it's changing so fast, but over the next 5 years, what are you kind of seeing as trends? What are you aiming at, doubling down on? Obviously going high end was something in the last year and a half and it's working out for you. And we do know from our world that middle income and lower middle income are finding it harder and harder and harder to pay the bills, make truck payments. There's more foreclosures coming. They're kind of hiding the data because it's election year, but there's a lot of noise in the economy. And the upper middle and upper class, the affluent, they don't care if they pay $800 or $1,200 for a carpet cleaner to come in. You know what I mean? It's like that extra $400 didn't break the bank on $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month income kind of idea. And their stock market is going crazy anyway. Some of them finally got into crypto and that's doing their thing. They're not the worried crowd, right? So that seems like one thing that you've made an adjustment around in our economy and kind of as things flesh out. Any other couple other things that you see that's going on?
Well, yeah, that's the big one. I mean, moving towards that type of almost recession-proof type of client base that we're working towards, and we're still building on that. Like I still feel like we're in the early stages of that and what we're doing. So that would be critical. I like to look at the tech side of things. I'm a gadget guy. I like toys and things like that. So even though I did get away from that for a few years, I'm back to it this year, and I like to be on the maybe not the bleeding edge, but the cutting edge of the industry. And I can't help but thinking that robotics are going to be coming into it. Like my wife and I drove by this weekend a commercial property, and they had an electric lawnmower out there. In the lawn for them. So I'm
more and more of those.
I'm sure, and I know that's out there for carpet from a different standpoint for large quantity areas, large quantities of square footage. So that's something to be keeping my eyes on, and how to implement new tech into the business.
Neat,
So to be more efficient, to help marketing, maybe that's the case. Different angle to look at that.
And you use Service Monster, I believe, is the platform you guys use. Do you have the technicians on tablets, or are they still writing paper invoices? Like, have you moved tech into the one?
Yeah, we went paperless a few years ago with Service Monster. I'll try not to disparage them too much. I mean, we like the platform, but they need some help still improving some things. But they do provide. There's a lot of data you can get from it. So we are paperless there. We take a lot of pictures, add them to work orders. We've used Company Cam in the past. We're probably actually going to bring it back on again, more so for our rug cleaning and commercial accounts, actually, for providing value. Using Company Cam as a way to document what we do and document the condition, visual condition of carpets, and report that back to our commercial accounts as a value add, actually.
That makes sense.
I know nobody else is doing something like that.
No, and who was it years ago that even like, so way before company cams and things like that? Oh, I think was it Jim Wolverton? I can't remember who it was, who had talked about his, like, even just area rugs in his area rug room, which wasn't anything impressive. He actually had to clean it up to make it look good, but had a security camera in the corner and had it put
Oh,
on the website. You could watch your rug being cleaned. You could
yeah.
watch the rug room being and stuff like that. Just as a neat little, again, another value, like a value add using technology to,
Mhm.
in today's day and age, you could probably even integrate some automation and AI that when that rug, maybe a little QR codes and stuff like that, scan that rug. And when that rug gets scanned, they get an alert. Hey, do you want to watch your rug getting cleaned?
Mm.
And that, things like that. Maybe not now, but
Yeah.
12 months from
No.
now, you've got, you know, stuff like that going on. And if they happen to be live on it, the technician can, hey, so I see you on there, like a tablet, and hey, Mrs. Jones. Yeah. So, I'm going to take out this spot right now and I'm going to do whatever. And,
We've
could you
talked
imagine
about
the
that
amount of value
actually.
that would put to a job for the people that cared? Like it's their $30,000 Persia
Yeah.
or it's grandma's rug or great grandma's rug, and they just right. Hey, sure, we'll ping you when we're ready to clean it, and you can live interact with the technician as he does it.
Yep.
Things
No,
like
I think
that.
it's a great idea. We've talked about that. Yeah, what are the web, like webcam, essentially, you
Yeah.
can see the top of the tallest building in your city, but you can also see the rugs
Yeah.
being cleaned at the local rug cleaning shop.
Yeah, that's awesome. So cool. Well, I think we've got a lot of advice. We've just near the top of the hour. So like to move people on with their day, and hopefully they listen to us more than Joe Rogan in the trucks and learn some stuff about running a business as they're
Yep.
driving around and stuff like that. So I always like to end with any parting advice to cleaning business owners, either new to the game, like some of the younger crowds, the 25-year-old, 30-year-olds, or somebody who is kind of been at it, an old dog at it. They've been 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years, but just kind of seem to be spinning their wheels,
Yeah.
doing the one guy in a truck sort of same thing and can't really get out of the rut. Both people have the same sort of problem. Just any sort of parting advice on what to aim at most, what to aim their attention towards, to kind of get the lifestyle out of owning a business instead of just the pain in the butt of owning a business.
Yeah, I think, and I didn't talk about this when you asked me about pitfalls,
Hmm.
but I had a rough couple years, and for different reasons, it's on a different a different recording that I could go into. But one of the big lessons I took from that would apply to all those different categories you talked about is getting connected with a group of colleagues that have the same kind of mindset that you do.
Like a mastermind group almost,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
I
the
mean,
Napoleon
I'm
Hill
sure
thing.
you've heard Jim Rohn, you are the
Yeah.
average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And in retrospect, I could see that I wasn't being diligent about monitoring that for some years. And if you're not diligent, you can slip.
Yeah.
And so about 9 months ago now is when I joined that Michael's group that
Yep.
you know about, and being part of that, all those guys are getting after it. Positive mindsets, might have some setbacks here and there, but we pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off and
Yeah.
help each other out with some encouragement. And I think that it might sound cliche, but I think it's really critical to have that. If
No,
you're
I think that being in the right rooms and the right group of people and is like you've always got to be a student of life. So I always used to say student of your craft. No, it's like you've got to be a student of everything. Like,
oh yeah,
as you get as we get older as people, it's like you start learning, you got to be a little bit of student about your health and your, and what you're eating and supplements and things like that, or
yeah,
it'll catch up with you. You want to be a student of keeping this thing sane so you don't be a workaholic. So between how do you, like, everybody used to think meditation and mindfulness and all was woo-woo stuff, but you realize how burnt out you can get if you don't take that restful time. And again, in groups of people where they're all after the same goal and help each other out and are just giving, like somebody in that group has already run into the problem you've run into, they
yep,
help you, you're looking to give back to the next guy, then going, this is just a give group. And yeah, you can't help but sort of lift everybody up and that kind of thing. And if you're not in that group, being in business, being a business owner is like very lonely.
lonely.
It's
Yep,
right. It's like
yep.
you can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts and stuff like that. But if you go home to your spouse and you're trying to tell them what you think, I don't have a clue what you just said. anyways, you want to watch, Law and Order, kind of idea. So it's like, it's great to be around a bunch of people that you can just geek out on some of this stuff too, and just really go, wow, I want to give that a try. Have you tried? Oh, I tried that. I don't do it this way. Aim slightly that way. See what happens, because I tried that, what you said, and that didn't quite work out right, or whatever. Right. And and it's just, yeah, you can shorten the learning curve and shorten the growth. So cool.
Yeah.
Great advice. So no, thanks for hopping on. I really appreciate it. Anybody in your local market area, we're going to share this out as well. You're going to, obviously the Rockford area, we're going to look up all seasons, carpetcleaning.com. And phone number 519 or 815. Oh my gosh, I'm 519 area code. Sorry. 815-399-8690 is one of the numbers that rings through to you guys. And yeah, everybody who's listening to this who is interested, definitely reach out. And if you have any questions for Brent as well, definitely send them into the show. We do share all of the questions with guests, and can put some show notes back together and stuff like that at the end as well. So, well, I appreciate you jumping on. I think people are going to get a lot of value out of the journey from dad to you, all the way to this, and now this new iteration going forward for the next version of all seasons as well. So, really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. I had a good time.
All right. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody. And until next time, happy marketing.